Chelsea Football Club wanted Todd Boehly to come out and speak, and guess what, Chelsea fans? Todd Boehly has done an exclusive interview with Forbes, and he speaks about Chelsea, and he said something a lot of you won't like. Secondly, we have got the latest on the race to sign Ruben Amorim. Ben Jacobs and other sources have come out and said the 3 clubs that are actively chasing after Ruben Amorim, and I can actually make it 4 technically, because we've heard stories from someone else. We'll tell you who they are, we'll tell you his release clause, and we'll tell you what the current stipulations are around the player. And now apparently Chelsea are in the mood of giving. Alfie Gilchrist gets a 2-year contract with a year extension. Chelsea fans are negative about that. I don't know how. And number 4, another player, Cole Palmer. It looks like he's getting a new contract, moving up from 80k to a lucrative 150. We'll break that down. We'll talk about it in minor details, but at the same time, I'll give you some lovely little flux of entertainment, joy, and make sure you lot get your Chelsea fix. The latest Chelsea news that all of you need. So all I ask for is a like button. So hit that like button. We're aiming for 750 likes. Number 2, subscribe if you're new, because clearly you're enjoying what you're seeing and it helps the community grow. And number 3, in the comments below, would you reward Cole Palmer right now with a new contract, considering he signed it 6 months ago? Because what about the other players? Do you think they're going to need it? I have no problem with it. I want to know your opinion. But let's start with the news. Ever since Todd Boehly and Iqbali have come in, all I've heard from people is, we need to hear Todd speak. Chelsea Football Club need to have an owner that speaks and interacts with the fans. Well, all we've seen right now is Todd Boehly spoke to Forbes and fans aren't happy. And for me, this is exactly why I don't want the ownership group to speak. Guys, we need to understand, owners are business. They are here to make money. Roman Abramovich was a fanatic of football. Roman didn't love Chelsea initially, he grew to love Chelsea. Roman Abramovich is 1 in a million, as Neo would say, because the reality is, he's the best we ever had. We are never going to find anybody as good as Roman Abramovich to be our owner, purely based on the fact that he would write as many checks as possible. If we didn't win 1 year, Donny, you're out of a job, and we're going to start reinvesting again and make sure we're in a contention to win a trophy at minimum. It doesn't matter what trophy, but we're going to win one. So what has happened? Todd Boehly done an interview with Forbes, and it was about his whole life. However, there was a segment on Chelsea, and he said the good thing about Chelsea Football Club is the people care, the fans care. The bad thing is the people care and the fans care. What does that mean? It means that we care way too much and we are impatient. And guess what, Todd? You should have known what you purchased. We love this football club. There's a reason why somebody like me, if for fun, can go in front of a camera and speak about the football club that he loves. And there are people that tune in. Like yesterday's video got nearly 9,000 people tuning in to watch it. Do you know how mad that is? That 9,000 people took time out of their day to watch something that I am delivering about Chelsea Football Club. So Todd, trust me, big man, if you don't want people to care, you're in the wrong business. Secondly, he said people get annoyed and they aren't being patient with the development. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. That is something that we are getting annoyed. But the reason is because the development at this moment in time isn't going as quick as we would like it to go. And more importantly, it feels like we're regressing rather than progressing. And if we were progressing, and if we were sitting 5th, if we were 4th, if we were 3rd, I promise you right now, nobody would be moaning. You would be getting all the support. People would say, he's spending the money. We're doing it right way. We're developing the young players. However, we're sitting 11th and we could be 13th by close of business today. It's absolutely ridiculous. And finally, what he said is very open and honest. He said, look, we need to give it time. We need this to develop. We've got a bunch of brilliant individuals. Now it's about coming together and making them a team. And for me, this is the biggest statement of all. I think we have got tremendous individuals in this institution. I think we've got so much talent. And the problem is we're not using the talent correctly. We haven't got a manager that is the level of the talent that these lot can be. Pochettino is not a great manager. Pochettino is an average manager. We have seen this now ever since Pochettino went to PSG. People made excuses for him. And at Chelsea, we have seen him at 2 major clubs, and he's failed miserably. He failed at PSG and he's failing at Chelsea. And now Chelsea Football Club are going to have to replace him again. It doesn't matter how many managers you replace until you find the right one. It's as simple as that, Todd. Get it done. One of the replacements, alongside multiple other names that have been mentioned, is Ruben Amorim. And you all know this is my first choice. Ruben Amorim apparently has 4 clubs that are actively looking to secure the individual. And this is very interesting for me because when you think about this in the big picture, Ruben Amorim's name is mentioned anywhere and everywhere. There is reports in Germany, there are reports in Spain, there are reports in England, and there are reports, of course, in Portugal linking him all over the gaff. The reports today are coming out from Germany, and these reports from Germany are very interesting. Number one, it's stipulating that Bayern Munich have got him on their list. He's not one of the first choices, but they're going to keep tabs. Number two, they are also stipulating that there is a 10 million euro release clause. I don't believe the release clause is as low as that. I think the release clause is somewhere between the 12 and 20 mark because we keep seeing those numbers touted. It's the first time I saw 10 million euros. So I think that's where the story from Bild is going a little bit in a different direction. They've also said Chelsea are actively monitoring him if they make a replacement for Pochettino. We are replacing Pochettino. Let that be 100% guaranteed. The reason I'm so confident in that is because I feel like he's embarrassed the sporting directors and he's embarrassed the ownership. The ownership have invested so much money, and what they would expect in return is love and adulation. But what they've got back is getting called clowns, getting humiliated, and more importantly, getting embarrassed on a weekly basis, where to the point where they're a meme now. It is not nice, it's not good for business, and their asset is getting depreciated in front of their eyes. So Chelsea will be looking at this manager. Whether they go after him, it's a completely different thing. But I've made a tactical video about this man. If you want to see it, it will be linked at the end of the video, the pros and cons of De Zerbi and Ruben Amorim. Make sure you go see it. However, and this is the big one, Liverpool are also interested. And if Liverpool want him, the project, everything about it ticks the boxes he would go for. The only thing I think that doesn't is the system he plays. He plays a 3-5-2, and this is where I think we would absolutely steal him if we could get him, because we would have a ball-playing goalkeeper, we have 3 centre-backs, one of Levi Colwill, or what's it called, Badiashile Fofana. Then you can also introduce different elements to it. You can go with a 4 when you have the 2 wing backs with Enzo Caicedo, Lavia, Santos. You got Nkunku, Palmer, and then number 10, Nicholas Jackson. It doesn't need much work. It looks good and it's very interesting. I'm honestly really excited to see. Even to this day right now, we are being linked with other players that he likes. For example, Diamonde is being linked again. And this is, Ben Jacobs has said this deal could be a little bit difficult to do purely based on the fact of his release clause, which is 60 million euros. I don't think that's a difficult deal to make. Our board have shown if we want a player, we go and get him. Whether we overpay, whether we underpay, whether it's a bargain, if we want a player, they prove that we get him. So for me, I have confidence in them. If they acquire the talent, they'll go and secure him. That's going to be an interesting one to watch. More information comes out, I'll keep you tabbed. So it looks like Cole Palmer is on track to be getting a new contract. Matt Law has been busy today with announcing 2 players are going to be getting new contracts. One's already signed and been released by the club, and the other one is Cole Palmer. So we'll talk about Cole Palmer first. Cole Palmer has come in. He was on a 7-year deal, and what's beautiful about this is Cole's going to go from £80,000 to around about 150,000 to being one of the better paid players in the team. He's going to literally inflate his salary within 6 months, and he's earned every penny. If Cole Palmer is the level of progress people need to do to get a pay rise, we are going about it the right way. People are saying, what about like the rest of the squad? Is it not going to have them disjointed? I dare anybody to sit up and say, excuse me, look at the way we're performing, because I'll just tell him, what are you doing that's on par with Cole Palmer? The reality is, Cole Palmer at this moment in time is Chelsea's best player. He's getting all the goals, he's putting in the performances, he's getting the assists, and he's winning the man of the matches. We haven't had a player of this magnitude since Juan Mata, since Oscar, since Eden Hazard. Someone that is so creative, someone so productive, someone that's just doing good stuff on a regular basis. We had a slight period with Mason Mount of around about 8 months where he did that. After that, he fell off massively. I really hope the same doesn't happen to Cole Palmer, and I think he's deserved every penny of his pay rise. The second thing we need to talk about is regarding Alfie Gilchrist. Alfie Gilchrist has signed a new deal till 2026 with 1-year option, and a lot of people wanted to paint this in a negative brush. They said, you know what, oh, look at this way, in in the world where we're given 7-year contracts, we're going to be given 3 years. They clearly don't rate Alfie. Well, what if Alfie didn't want to sign a longer contract? What if the money being offered at this moment in time to Alfie Gilchrist is purely based on the fact of his current ability now, and Alfie believes in 2 years' time, where it's 2026, he could be in a position to demand more money and wants to renegotiate his pay? Why is it always that the clubs are bad and not the players' side? For me, this is a great deal. This needs to be celebrated. This is a Cobham graduate that came through. Whenever he's got a chance, he's earned more game time. He's not let Pochettino down. And for me, he deserves this new pay rise. He deserves the pay rise, he deserves the security, and more importantly, hopefully he gets a loan next year to go and play regular football, and then we see what he's really made of. In the future, are we going to sell him on? Most probably. Is that a bad thing? No, because Alfie Gilchrist is going to go on and have a great career in football, in professional football. Not every Cobham graduate needs to make it at Chelsea. Not every Cobham graduate is good enough to make it at Chelsea. Only the creme de la creme need to stay. And in my opinion, this is where Chelsea in recent times, while some have been mistakes, they've got majority of them right. Because you need to remember there are absolutely 20, 30 players that graduate in every year from each age group. And not every one of them is good enough to make it for Chelsea. So let's be honest, let's be objective about this. Not every player is a Levi Colwill, a Reece James, or even a Mason Mount who's gone on to Manchester United for £60 million. So let's be open and honest. This is great news. Well done, Alfie. Well done, Cole Palmer. I hope they enjoy their new pay rises, and I hope they enjoy a long, successful tenure at Chelsea. But this was the Kavkas View. I gave you guys the latest Chelsea-related news. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button, and don't be so hard on Todd Boehly. He's only saying the truth. Let's get into it. Bye.